Hey, this is going to be my video about the results from Santiago in Chile. The tournament was last weekend and I was a little right and I was a lot wrong. So I had made predictions and they didn't pan out exactly, but you shall see. Something very weird happened and we'll try and figure out together what that was. So the first thing I want to show you is the tournament results, and these are it. So I had, let's see if I can make this a little bit bigger for you guys. It's in Spanish, but we'll hopefully make this work. So this is the list of the players who came in what placement. I had predicted Luciano would be in the top 5. He definitely wasn't. I don't know why that happened, but that definitely. Luciano had brought a Panzer army, and it really didn't work out. Juan Pablo here, I had predicted maybe for winning, and he came in one. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th place. With 10 tournament points, and the PD, that is how many points you kill of the enemy, I think. So the actual points cost of the enemy units that you killed, and then dice taken, PE, that is the dice taken. Right. So you can clearly see that Thomas and Louis, they had 15 points, tournament points each, so they were clearly in the lead, neck and neck, and Thomas just pulled a little ahead. And I had not had Thomas on my radar at all. I did not rate his army to be in the top at all. And looking through, because you can actually, I could, and I'll link this for you guys, if I can. It says protected, so I may not be able to link it, but you can actually see the route that they took. So Thomas fought Francisco first with his partisans, and then fought Daniel Mora with his French, and that was an easy victory. Look at that. Not sure what happened there, but maybe Daniel simply dropped out, or I don't know, something really bad happened in this game here. And then in the final round, Thomas was up against Daniel Munoz, and he won that game. And that brought him into the top. So for me, this is an example of what I typically call a submarine. That is a player that goes through a bunch of maybe not the top rated players, but and then ends up actually passing some of, and this is, I'm not trying to crap on Thomas. Thomas, congratulations for your victory. But sometimes this happens in tournaments where you have 3 rounds, that one player goes through less tough opponents, less tough matches, and ends up winning the tournament ahead of other players who maybe have had tougher matchups. So look at, for instance, Luis here, who came second. He fought against Sebastian Poblete, who came third, I believe. Sebastian had also fought against JP here, Juan Pablo. Juan Pablo had fought against Sebastian Portilla here. So some of these other top players who finished in the top here have actually had quite hard opposition going into that final round. So that's just what happens with 3 games. That's why typically if you want to run very big competitive tournaments, you would want a whole weekend and you want 5 games, so that there's a little bit more of the lead up. And then sometimes, at least in Denmark, we do that. We play placement games in the final round, so that you're not actually doing Swiss draw in the final round. You're just fighting for placement. If that had been the case, then I think Luis would have won the tournament here in the final round. So congratulations, Thomas, and we will see in a minute why I'm so surprised that he won, because he had brought an American army that was like completely out of my scope for winning this tournament. As for my predictions, I had predicted Luis, so that was good. I had predicted Sebastian, so that was also good. So I have 2 in the top 5 here. I had predicted Ivan, that's number 3rd in the top 5. And then I had 1 and Luciano is way out, and 1 is just out of top 5. So I think I did sort of okay with my predictions. I'm definitely not there yet, but you know, they weren't that bad. They were approximately 60%, which is what I was expecting. That was how accurate I was based on just lists in V2. So yeah. So those were the results. I also wanted to show you, because Juan Pablo sent me a little bit of a bat rep or a tournament rep for what had gone on. So he's supplementing our analysis. And people in Chile said that because I had featured him on my video, I had jinxed him. I'm sorry about that one. He played against Sebastian Portilla, first round against his Finnish. Top secret. Top secret is a difficult one, isn't it? But he played this very well, because he quite early on, he got his mechanized infantry up onto the objective and then escaped backwards with the objective. And that's what you can do. If you have mechanized infantry in top secret, then grabbing that objective early on, and you can see his Hanomag driven all the way up here, and then just unloaded guys and then ran off the table. It's very, very hard for the opponent to do anything about that. Sebastian tried to pull in his Caracopachos in here to stop the objective from running off, but it wasn't enough. They got slaughtered when they came on, and yeah, so that. By the way, lovely, lovely pictures here of the tables. This one is still a little open for my taste for V3, but you know, it really works. Second game was key positions against Sebastian Poblete, who came 3rd, and this was going to be a hard mission with key positions. As Juan Pablo writes, I had weak infantry. Yeah, that's a big one, isn't it? And against a German leaf blower list that just sits there and tears you to bits, that is going to be a rough game, especially if the leaf blowers actually manage to start killing you, right? So, and looking at the table here, this was an open table, so that's very favorable to leaf blower lists. So it's missing the deployment zone. We have objectives scattered around, multi-rocket launcher position, suicide AC track. Love it that you guys are using that. Nice. Yeah. This was always going to be a difficult terrain, difficult matchup. That nails it, doesn't it? And then the final game, Demolition. Oh, that's rough. I'm sorry about that. Demolition is not really well suited for tournament games, and it will quite often give, against fairly skilled opponents, it will quite often give a draw as the result, which sucks. And it was against Benjamin Astudillo. US mixed bag, 2 trucks, 2 heavy mortars, Stuart, Hellcat, and FLAO. Yeah. Defense, not much to say. Defense beats offense much of the time. Yeah. And I only had 2/3 of my army in position to attack. Yeah. Yeah, that sucks. And that's why I say that Demolition is not really well suited for the attack, right? Because it's really difficult to manage to pull all the way up into that zone, the opponent's zone, and grab that objective. So we can see here how up here, Benjamin's base was up here, and that's just so far up the table, and a lot of Juan Pablo's troops were just out of position to make that push towards that objective. And he will get shot to pieces, even with his panzers. You know, you might want to try and push one panzer, just rush it towards the objective, but that's a suicide mission. So, final comments. We're all against people that had a plan and knew how to implement it, and that is what wins games. That's what wins tournaments. The lost draws were extremely close. While the armor platoon did what it had to do, I wouldn't use it again unless I knew the missions in advance. Yes. These missions did not favor an armored platoon. I think, the mechanized platoon was very nice to have for the top secret, but key positions, nah. And demolition is always going to be a rough one, right? So the lack of infantry is very, very stressful, and that is, I think, one of the reasons why Juan Pablo didn't do as well as maybe he and other people expected. And I'm going to have to show you this next picture because, yeah, I'm sorry that I jinxed you. So here we have Juan Pablo getting revenge for my jinxing of his army and list and tournament. I'm sorry about that. So thank you all for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next video. And thank you everyone for sending me all this. I got a lot of nice pictures of tables as well, but I think we've seen what we needed to see right now from the tournament in Santiago, so I'll not show a lot of that. But thank you so much for Luciano, Sebastian, Juan Pablo, for all the info you sent me. If you guys want me to cover your tournaments, send me info. My email will be in the description for this video. Cheers!